Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Spider-Man. Oh yes, this is Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered, the first one. Fortunately or unfortunately, there seems to be about, I don't know, a dozen or so of these games nowadays. Okay, not literally, but a number of them came out, and it's kind of hard to keep track which one's the remaster, which one's the, you know, which universe and stuff, especially if you're not really into Marvel and all that good stuff. But yeah, this is the remaster of a game that I played, I don't know, ages ago. The first The Amazing Spider-Man game where you could swing around the city and fight bad guys and superheroes and supervillains and all that good stuff. And it's so glorious, is it not?
But what could they possibly
Hold on, Juggernaut, that's not Spider-Man. Yeah, I know, don't worry about it, right? We'll get to the cool Spider-Man bits in a moment, but this is not why I wanted to make this video. I wanted to make this video to show you how this game respects your time, and how much I appreciate it for doing so. Because here's the thing, I'm in the middle of a quest right now, okay? I can go to manual save, and I can go exit the game, switch off my computer, go do my laundry or whatever, and then come back 2 hours later and continue from this exact point. Not checkpoints, not anything like that. Granted, there are some limitations to where you can't manually save, but for the vast majority of the time, you can save pretty much anywhere. And that's great, especially for us older folks who, you know, don't have 6 hours to sit down and play the game, but do so in bits, I guess, in 40-minute intervals and 30-minute intervals, and then you stop to do something, and you come back, and so on and so forth. And yeah, for people like me, awesome. But this is not where the story begins and or ends. Now, in fact, let me just, do this bit of the story, and then I'm going to go to the main sort of part of the game with Spider-Man and, swinging webs around the city and doing tricks and stuff like that, and then I'll talk to you about a couple of more things and a few other ways this game respects your time. But before I do that, just one more thing. Pausable cutscenes. This is invaluable to some of us, right? To anyone with a real job, to anyone working from home, to anyone that's, taking care of, I don't know, children, or running his household, or whatever. Pausable cutscenes are amazing. You know what's also amazing? Skippable cutscenes. Now, I don't recommend you skip any of them, because the story for the game is actually pretty good, and the characters, I think, are really well voice acted, and generally just the story is really good, all aspects of it, right? Not just the narrative, but the execution as well. It's great. However, sorry about that. Actually, great example. Unscripted, I swear, I just got a work-related message. I need to answer that right away, and so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pause the cutscene, and I'm going to do that. The game respects your time. Now, I know that pausable cutscenes and manual saves have been in the gaming industry for as long as the gaming industry has existed, more or less. Okay, well, cutscenes haven't been there, throughout the entirety of time, but you get the point. Like, manual saving isn't exactly anything new. The point is, it's a dying art. A game respecting your time like this, allowing you to skip, pause cutscenes, save at any point you want, and load back in at the exact same point, it's not very common. But it's not just these little details. There's a couple of more things, and let's get into the sort of a little bit more important bits in a couple of seconds, as soon as this bit of the game finishes and I answer my work email. See you in a second. Okay, here we go. Some 40 minutes later, maybe, in a different part of town, in a different storyline. Well, actually, it's the same storyline, but a different quest. Let's take a look at the map. Okay? So, when you first start the game, you don't have all of these little pips on the map that you need to complete, like the challenges, the landmarks, etc., etc. At first, you get just the... what was it? You get the backpacks first, then you get the radio towers, or the police towers, which I've completed. That unlocks them, or rather that reveals the map for you, and then as you progress through the storyline, you unlock different things to do around the city, right? research stations, these monuments, and then you have bases, then you have fighting challenges, time challenges, or drone challenges. Basically, you go from one end of the city to another to disarm some bombs or something along those lines. There is also the raft, which I haven't been to. I really need to go over there at some point. I just realized that it's a location I can visit. Okay, so this is everything there is to do in the game, aside from the quests, which is like the main storyline and a few optional quests. Everything is laid out in front of you, and to be completely fair, at the time, I thought, well, hold on, look at the amount of things on the left, right? The legend. I've completed 65% of the district. I have one thing that's locked, and then I have 10 things that are locked down there, and then demon crimes, thug crimes, challenges, pigeons, Black Cat stakeouts. Oh god, I thought this game was going to last like 500 hours, 5 hours of which would be the story, and the rest is going to be just me collecting one thing after the other. Except, not really. There are a lot of things to do on the map. There are a lot of challenges, a lot of collectibles, everything's fine, lots of content for you, but the reward for these challenges: suits, gadgets. That's about it. And you will notice that I've upgraded my web shooters, my impact shooters, and my spider drones fully. I'm on my way to upgrading the electric web, and then that's about it. I mean, these two I don't really use that much, and then this is alright as it is, and even these you don't need to upgrade all the way. So, everything that you do on the map is not really... how do I put this? It's not a grind, right? I'll show an example a bit later down the line of a game where it is a grind. But this just goes, further to show that this game respects your time. If you want to do, for example, all of these demon hostage missions or whatever, you're going to get a whole bunch of tokens for them, and then you can upgrade, this. Okay, I need one more challenge token for it. Fine. Skills you get just from XP, and even then, I haven't done that many side activities. I've done a fair few, and I'm almost max level already. Right? And what's even more important, a whole bunch of these, like this over here, I mean, this is useful, but a whole bunch of these that I've picked up, I don't actually even use that much, nor do I find them to be, like, the most important thing ever. Because it's not. Like, it realistically isn't. And then you have missions. Alright. And that's about it, right? That's about it. And then you have your move list over here, and you see the resources down there. That's it. It's wonderful. Now, I feel like you're freaking out over a bunch of challenges not being exactly mandatory and being optional. Look, kind of. Because here's the thing. Picture any Ubisoft game that we've played in the last 10 years or so, ever since Assassin's Creed Origins. The vast majority of the side quests are in one way or another mandatory. And that's not even the main problem. The main problem is that they take so bloody long. But I'll get to that in a bit with actual video examples of it. For now, I can do the main quest, I can do a couple of the side missions, which some of them are more narrative story-based, some of them are just like quick little things that you need to do, like, there's a hostage situation, there's a bomb, there's a kidnapping, or whatever. And you solve that, and that's about it. So they're pretty quick, but they're still story-based, and there is content there in terms of the narrative. The rest over here are pretty simple and quick as well. Go to a base, clear it out, lots of fighting, it's fun, it's good. Go to these locations, take pictures of these buildings, it's fun, it's fine, alright, great. Drone challenges, those are a little bit annoying because they're time-based, but that's about it. The game respects your time, it's not a grind fest, and as a result, the vast majority of these things that you need to do on the map, even though there's so many of them, are pretty fun. And, even more importantly, you can pick which ones you want to do. For example, I want the suit... this one. I want this suit, right? It looks awesome. So I'm going to need 3 more base tokens and 3 more challenge tokens. Well, easy enough. We find a base over here like this one. Alright, this one I've already done, but sure. We find the base, clear it out, find maybe 1 more, find a couple of challenge tokens, and done. We get the suit. Straightforward, simple, easy. I love it. What's the alternative? I forgot to add one thing. Notice how if you need a particular resource, like I do right now, the bases, the game doesn't force you into grinding that resource for the next 2 hours. And the game never really forces you to play at its own pace with side missions, with side activities, or whatever. The game will encourage you occasionally. Oh, you should know, there's stuff to do around the city that isn't the main quest line, you should go and check it out. But that's only very, very briefly. Most of the time, the game doesn't force you to do anything. If you want to upgrade your gear, great. If you don't, you want to just go down the main storyline, also great.
Lots of busy worker bees up to no good.
And, very, very vitally, if you want to, for example, do side gigs like this with the bases, they're very fun. There's 2 ways of doing them. For the first, I don't know, maybe half or 2/3 of this base clearing operation, you can do it stealthily. You can go from rooftop to rooftop like this, and then, okay, I can't pick him up because those guys are going to notice, but I can jump over there and maybe grab this guy, right? For that I'm going to need to go here, and then there we go. So we utilize stealth. If I don't want to do that, I could just jump down there and start fighting. But it's combat, it's a key element of the game, it's very fun to do, and it's not just me running around collecting 500 different rocks and trees and sticks to upgrade my suit. Very fun. Now, as I was saying before I interrupted myself, I guess in a way, let's check what the alternative is to a game like this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to use this game just to illustrate a few points, but I do want you to know that this is a game that I immensely enjoy. I think this is a great game overall. I just want to point out a couple of negative aspects of it, and this just happens to be one of the games that I can use to point out those things that kind of annoy me in open world games, especially the ones published by Ubisoft, especially specifically the bigger ones published by Ubisoft, right? And think any of the Assassin's Creed games in recent years, and I don't know, there's plenty of other materials out there like this. You will see what I'm talking about in a minute. But I do want you to know that I just happen to have this installed, and it's useful as a demonstration of what I'm trying to explain. Don't take this as me hating on the game or anything. I really do enjoy it, and I think it's awesome. So, with that said, welcome to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Stunning looking game, it really is. But let's take a look at what I just talked about, right? The map, the side quests, the inventory, the resources and stuff like that, and how it doesn't really respect your time. You see, here's the issue. I don't mind games being grindy. I think in certain games it's sort of built into the core value of why you like the game. Think War Thunder, World of Tanks, Elite Dangerous. I've played a ton of that, and the reason why you really care about that super large, awesome ship that you want to buy is specifically because it's going to take 100 hours of grinding credits and whatnot to get to that ship. That's one of the reasons why that ship matters so much, and in a multiplayer universe, you can go out and show it and be like, right, I've grinded to make this ship look like this and upgraded it and whatnot. Although, a lot of the cosmetics in that game can just be purchased, but what I mean is like the actual functional parts of the ship. As an example, so grindy games in general, not a terrible idea, not you know, ad hoc and as a whole terrible from the very beginning. But in games like this, single-player games, story-driven games, I feel like a lot of the gameplay is artificially bloated to make it seem longer, to make it seem more in-depth than it actually is. And I'm going to try and demonstrate that in a moment.
Better stay hidden.
Indeed, better stay hidden. Yeah, as I... Whoops, wrong button. Can I... No, I'm stuck. Okay, there we go. So let's demonstrate. I've played... how many hours in this do I have? I think around like 10, 15, maybe 20, something like that. I don't know. Let's say 15 hours. I feel like I've just left the starting island. Well, okay, not really. I've been around a little bit to Megaris as well, and then I made it to Phokis. But zoom in a little bit, right? The game only has one active quest for me right now, and okay, a couple of side quests. These are some of the DLCs, and then I have, okay, a couple of things like this. So not that many quests. But the game disguises a lot of its grind through side quests, and through events, and through different things that you need to do. So let's take a look at, for example, well, actually Megaris would be a great example, because I've been there and I know what I'm talking about. If you get to Megaris, you want to collect resources. How do you collect resources? Mainly missions and treasures and stuff like that. And so each and every single one of these little pips here has some amount of resources for you to collect. Some amount of war supplies to burn, loot, treasures to find, etc, etc. Now this game gets away with it because it's absolutely gorgeous, and a lot of these are historic or historically inspired locations, and you really want to visit them anyway. But then there's the leader that you need to kill. Then there's his mansion. Then there's all the synchronization points. Then there's all the plethora of mini side quests that you need to do, which often aren't exactly much of a story quest. It's more along the lines of someone comes up to you and says, hey, I need 10 bear asses, and you need to, that's bear the animal by the way, you need to go and collect them from this particular forest on the map, and then you go there and you collect them and you come back. That's not much of a forest. Now, Spider-Man, it's a story, sometimes a bit more rudimentary than others, but it is a story. A concerned citizen approaches you about, I don't know, pollution, and you need to find the cause of the pollution and save people like that, and it's wrapped up more nicely, even though at the end of the day it's just moving from point A to point B, either fighting people or finding things. Don't get me wrong, this is Assassin's Creed, not the most realistic game, but I'm not expecting to swing around ancient Greece with my web shooters. However, the underlying foundation is still the same. And then we get over to the inventory and the resources. Precious gems, obsidian, ancient tablets, wood, metal, and leather. All of which you need in order to upgrade your ship, in order to upgrade your gear, in order to progress in the game. Because if you don't do those things, you're not going to really progress. How do you collect them? With a lot of difficulty. That is how you collect them. You collect them with a lot of difficulty. So, let's say I want to upgrade this thing. Well, I can't upgrade it here. I need to go over to a person that can upgrade it for me. Okay, so that's going to take time out of my day. And then how do I upgrade it? Well, I'm going to need gear, and I'm going to need money. Or rather, I'm going to need resources, I'm going to need money. Currently, I have a fair amount of both. Okay, what happens afterwards? Well, I'm going to do a quest to level up, and then I'm going to need to do the same thing to my gear, or I'm going to need to find better gear. Fine. And then over and over and over again, we do the same thing, but it's not necessarily a bad idea. I mean, Skyrim's kind of like that, right? You upgrade your gear, buy new stuff, keep doing quests, but in Skyrim it works because Skyrim respects your time. Notice how, for example, in a game like that, every time you go into a quest location or a treasure, a cave or something, at the end of that, there's a shortcut back to the beginning. Right? There is. There's always a shortcut back to the beginning of where you started. Here, sometimes, but that's not the most sort of annoying part of exploring and going around this place. The most annoying part is, let's see, I don't know if I can find a cave around here. That would be grand if I could to show you, but if I can't, I'm just going to tell you about it, which to me it increasingly looks like I'm not going to be able to do that, which is, you know, a tad unfortunate. Although, there's an example as well. I need to do a lot of hunting to get soft leather. I need to collect a bunch of wood. And how do I do that? Well, I'm going to run around the countryside like this, collecting it. And then, if I can't see it, I need to get off my horse, press the inspect button, and see if there's anything around.
Perfect hunter.
Yeah, there's one more. I think I missed some wood up here. There you go. There's 4 olive wood. Okay, to be fair, this is not exactly how you're meant to do it. The way you're meant to do it is actually at sea with your ship, because you get more resources that way, especially of these more mundane ones. But even then, you take out 15 ships to be able to upgrade one small aspect of your own vessel. And the game just inflates itself with content that you don't need to do otherwise, were it not for these magical stats that you need all of a sudden to progress. Again, this game's good because it's fun, and a lot of these activities that you do tend to be fun, but running around the Valley of the Snake, killing 50 bears and 20 elk and gathering 500 bushels of whatever to upgrade my ship is not what I would call my idea of fun. And then there's this awkward situation. Crew armor, right, I want to boost this. I got the resources, I don't have the money. How do I get the money? Well, I engage in pointless combat with one or another city-state, get a bunch of gear, sell it, and then try and upgrade this. Now, okay, currently there's nothing stopping me from just focusing on the main quest, which is talking to Herodotus. Fine, I can do that, but there comes a point where the game's like, nah, hold on, you gotta do a bit more grinding now. And so, 50 hours into the game, which is where I got to the most, I think, at one point, I just got bored of it. The exploration is fun. Do you know you can fight mythical creatures? Accidentally stumbled upon one on an island somewhere, and the game told me, yeah, this isn't available yet, you're gonna need to come back here when you're level 50. Let me fight it, let me get my arse kicked, and then figure that out for myself. Yeah? That would be a little bit more awesome than telling me you need to grind a little bit to get to the fun bit. And it dangles these little fun berries in front of you all the time, and it goes, yeah, you know, wouldn't this be cool? Yeah, but you need to grind for it. Again, I'm not against grinding, but this is a little bit much, and the game doesn't respect your time. And the reason I wanted to find the cave is because it's my ultimate nitpick. Maybe we can go to the cave of Kratos. Can we do that? It's 500 meters away, it's going to take a minute. Alright, let me get to the cave and I'll show you what I mean over there. In a couple of weeks I've forgotten some of the controls. I know there's a button to highlight some of this stuff, but yeah, it's alright, never mind. Yeah, there we go, found it. Okay. You see this stuff? Up here? I think this was lootable when I got here. And then, okay. Oh, stuff down there as well. Let's go down, loot it. Oh look, precious gems and iron metal. As opposed to iron leather or whatever, but yes, there you go. So, what exactly is the problem with this? Well, as you're about to see, hopefully, this stuff is absolutely everywhere around the cave, and I don't mean just conveniently placed on the way as you go. I mean, everywhere. Well, okay, Juggernaut, you have resources like metal inside caves. What's so terrible about that? What's so terrible about that, dear viewer, is that this is a main storyline mission cave.
No one notices me here.
Which means that as you're doing the main quest, all the time, you're looking for little crevices to sneak off into and grab precious metals instead of focusing on the game, and on the cave, and on the story. It's a bit of a problem. And I'll show you here, for example, right? Oh, I pressed the wrong button. That never gets old. Get rid of this guy as well, and then we'll talk about it some more. Alright. But that is not what I wanted you to do. There we go. Get rid of him. Excellent. Okay, so we've killed a bunch of enemies. We're going to loot them now. Awesome. There's our helmet. There's our money. Good. Let's get on with the story. Oh, hold on. Hold on. We can't. Not yet. There's a bit of stuff hanging to the wall. No. No, can't get it from here. No, can't get it from here. I need to climb up and then drop down to get it. Couldn't reach it from here. All the bloody time like that. Oh, that's such a tiny little nitpick. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't. Like I said, I immensely worst thing ever. It gets away with a lot of this stuff, but the pacing's kind of off. It ruins what is a better experience otherwise, right? That's not the problem. I'm not saying here, oh, my life is ruined because I need to pick up little stones from caves in order to upgrade my gear in Assassin's Creed. This don't really respect your time. Say I have, I don't know, about 30 minutes left until I need to go to the gym or to work or whatever. I can jump in and Spider-Man, and I can do a side mission. I can do one of the couple of challenges, and that's about it. And then I'll manually save the game, and I'll be off. Odyssey? Well, I can jump in and clear a cave or two, maybe. It depends on how big the cave is. And then I've collected a whole bunch of little rocks. And that's about it. Oh, can I upgrade the ship now? No, not really, because I need more money. Oh, okay, I've got money. Can I upgrade the ship now? Well, no. See, technically, you need to go to the docks first to upgrade it. For example, you don't actually here. You can upgrade the ship from the main menu. You can't upgrade your gear, though, which is a whole different thing, right? So, okay, I've gathered enough resources and money and materials and whatever to upgrade the Wolf's Helm, which is my father's helmet. Can I? No, unfortunately, you need to go down to the thing to upgrade it, to have another guy upgrade it. Right? And this takes time. So instead of being, I don't know, 5% more through the game, or through the story of the game, or achieving something in those 30 minutes that is meaningful to me and is progressing through the game, I've achieved something. I've collected the resources. It's not like I've done nothing, but it's so unnecessarily bloated. That's the problem. I'm not against upgrading gear. I'm not against these RPG mechanics. I love this stuff. I really, really do. I mean, every game I've ever played where you can upgrade gear and stuff, I've been a hoarder and I wanted to loot everything that isn't nailed down to the wall. Testament, my Fallout Let's Play, right? And Fallout London, which is currently running. But it's unnecessarily bloated, and that's the problem. That's the real problem. That's what I mean when some games don't really respect your time. Let's take a different genre altogether. Total War. The ultimate respect of your time, right? Because every single click of the mouse does something that influences your campaign and how you do in the game. Whether it be a unit that you've ordered to a particular place, whether it be a building you constructed, everything there is progressing towards you finishing the campaign or doing something meaningful at all times. Games like this? Not really, right? It's artificially bloating the game to make it seem like it's longer than it is, and to, well, for one, to sell microtransactions as well, because you can actually buy a lot of these resources for real money, which is just the ultimate kicker for a single-player game. But not only that, also to bloat the hours in a game to make you feel like it's worth more than it actually is. And don't get me wrong, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is freaking awesome, and it deserves your money, and it's a great game. I picked it up on sale at some point, I think for like $10, $15, maybe something like that. It's a great game, visually stunning. I love exploring all the little islands and historical locations and stuff like that. I mean, look at the map. Just look at it. All these different places you can go to. Plus, I love ancient Greece as a whole, so, for me, this is just brilliant stuff. But, at the same time, I kind of dread going to a new region, because, for example, where did I go that's... I made it to Malise, right? Made it to the Bay of Xerxes and thought to myself, oh god, here come the side quest, here come the... fetch quests, everything. Oh god, no. That's what I thought to myself. In a great game like this, you can imagine how much more of a problem this is in games that aren't that fun, where you don't have as much fun exploring the world, because maybe it's not so detailed, and maybe it's not so interesting to you. Yeah. Yikes, right? So there you go. Unfortunate. Think of another example of a game that respects your time but has tons and tons and tons of side activities. Saints Row. Like Saints Row the Third, for example, is I think the one I played the most. That game had 1 million side quests. All of them were either funny, fun, or contributed significantly to something. What do I mean by that? Well, in Saints Row, you wouldn't do 30 minutes of combat in order to get, 5 pieces of leather in order to upgrade your gear or craft a new set of underwear or something. Even though, you might find that in the game as a joke, but you're not going to find it as a core gameplay mechanic. Instead, you go and do a side gig, and once you've completed the side gig, that part of the city is now yours where the side gig is. So instead of enemies, you're going to find friendlies there. Like your own gang taking over. That's huge. That made it so I can jump into the game, play for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, leave and feel like I've done something. I've made a difference in Steelport. I've made a difference in, what was the other city? I forgot. Yeah? Here, I'm going to play for 30 minutes, I'm going to get a whole bunch of wood and soft leather, and I'm going to be like, eh. Right? Again, not using this particular game as an example of a game that's bad or, I don't enjoy. Quite the opposite. I really like it. But it's a question of design. It's not a question of whether the game's grindy or not. It's a question of how you design the side activities, the side quests, the optionals, the side missions, the collectibles, hell, even some of the Easter eggs and stuff. Respect your players' time, and I think they will respect you for it all the more. And I think they're going to enjoy your game all the more for it. Again, Assassin's Creed Odyssey gets away with a lot of this stuff because the game's really good, the combat's really fun, and it's a joy to explore. And then, because it's a joy to just go around and see all these things, the fact that you're collecting a whole bunch of rocks along the way you don't really mind it that much. Yeah? And besides, I'd rather there be sticks and stones to collect along the way than there be nothing at all whatsoever. Like that's even worse. Then you had absolutely no reason to go and visit most of the places here. I understand that as well. But there's a fine line between 1 million collectibles and just having enough to keep the game interesting. So, like I said, respect the time of the players. Bloating a game unnecessarily with mechanics that are not fun is just a poor design decision, I think. The game doesn't need to be 200 hours long for it to be fun. Quite the opposite. Oftentimes, if you cut out the unnecessary bits and you condense it, you can make a game that's more fun. That said, in no universe am I going to pay $100 or $70 or $60, whatever, for a game that's like 3 hours long. So it's a question of balance and quantity and quality and all that good stuff, but sometimes I feel like they go overboard with quantity to the point where quality is like not really there, or they really skimp out on making some aspects of the collections and side missions fun. So yeah, there you go. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Juggernaut. Like, subscribe down below if you enjoyed the video and want to stay tuned with the rest of the content that I produced. My wireless controller is at 0% battery, but I just plugged in new batteries. I don't think that's right. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Have fun. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, and of course, as I was saying before I interrupted myself, like, subscribe down below if you want to stay tuned with the rest of the content that I produce on the channel, and it, helps out a whole bunch as well. Have fun. Bye-bye. Oh, and one more thing. As the ultimate kicker, I was just about to leave. I've made my point, finished the video, did the outro and everything. I'm like, alright, let's save the progress and leave. Oh. I can't. I need to finish the whole cave excursion thing, and only then can I save and exit. So now I'm stuck here playing the game a little while longer. Details, people. Details like this matter.